Hey, you guys. Ugh, what a nightmare this week has been. I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about it because I am fired up. Fired up. Some of you might know that I do not do well when my kind of sense of injustice is triggered, and this is one of those. I'm just sitting here in my car because I needed some time to decompress. This whole experience of being in isolation, Shane being identified as a high-risk contact has been so frustrating. Let alone that it's the holidays. We were fortunate enough that my amazing sister-in-law actually dropped off Christmas dinner for us. We got to participate with mom and my sister-in-law over Zoom for the holidays. So that was amazing. It actually kind of just felt like we were, the people on like the other end of the table that you can not really hear, but you can see them and you're in the same room and it's cool. That was pretty much us. So we felt like we were at the other end of the table and we just couldn't really hear everybody so well. But like, what Christmas dinner does that not happen at, really? Like, let's be honest. But yeah, it's not so much about that. It's about this whole process of Ottawa Public Health and getting tested. November 23rd, Shane was identified as a high-risk contact because he is a school bus driver. Two of his routes were affected. One school had an outbreak, and he was identified as a high-risk contact, so he immediately went into isolation, called me at work. I went into isolation, and that was that. The next day, so December 24th, Christmas Eve, he was contacted by Ottawa Public Health again, for another exposure warning. So another school that he drives for had an outbreak, and was shut down or whatever. It was the Christmas holidays, so it's not like anybody's open anyway. But yeah, so second exposure warning. Perfect. We got official paperwork from Ottawa Public Health, identifying him as a high-risk contact. He needs to isolate. He needs to get tested. He needs to wait a certain amount of days before he can get tested. Perfect. Awesome. So I, of course, was in isolation as well. Luckily, I was off for the first few days anyway. But yeah, so I talked to my work on Christmas Day because after going through all of the paperwork on Christmas Day, I don't know what's wrong with me, but after going through all the paperwork, I noticed that if you are in the household of the high contact person, official Ottawa Public Health rules say that you can still continue your normal activities if you are double vaxxed. So awesome. I let my work know, hey, I'm good to come back to work. I am double vaxxed, which is the policy at my work anyways, by the way, so awesome on them. And yeah, they still wanted a test. We're in the middle of a pandemic, to me, that's perfectly reasonable. Especially when you work in the hospitality industry. You can come into contact. You don't because Corona, but you could, right, potentially come in contact with lots of people. So good on them for being extra cautious. I'm an extra cautious kind of person, so I thought that was fine. But they, luckily, Shane has to get an official PCR test, or at least so we thought, to go back to work, but I was permitted to just get the rapid test. Awesome, right? So much easier. That's going to open up a world of possibilities for getting me back to work sooner, right? No. So even though I'm not the high risk person, because Shane is, essentially I was not eligible for those pharmacy rapid tests. So first I walked into the pharmacy, because again, don't forget, I am allowed to do that as per the Ottawa Public Health paperwork, right? So I walked in, try to get tested, and they say, oh, unfortunately, there's a backlog of testing. Everybody wants to get tested, obviously. Why would anybody, stay home for the holidays? And yeah, so everybody wants to get tested. We now only take appointments. You're going to have to make an appointment. Perfect. So I go home, try to make an appointment. And the dates that I see are January 10th. That was not good enough for me because I wanted to get back to work ASAP. Little bit on the paycheck to paycheck at the moment, and I literally just started this job. So, but anyways, so I kept looking. I found a location, awesome, that had availability for the next day or the day after. So I go to try to book that. By the way, I've spent a little while now looking at different shoppers and, trying to find one that has availability. Anyways, I find one with availability for the next day or the day after, click on it to book it, answer a questionnaire. Awesome. Go through the questionnaire. I'm not a high-risk contact, blah, blah, blah. The last question is anyone in your household isolating after being identified as a high-risk contact? Yes. Thank you. You are no longer eligible to get tested. Okay. And I know some people might be saying right now, you should have just said no. You should have just clicked the box that said no one's isolating, blah, blah. But here's the thing. I don't believe in lying for this. I don't believe in lying when it's a public health issue. There's a pandemic going on. I don't care. For me, right? If I have a sniffle or a sore throat or a cough, if it's on the symptoms list, it is a symptom. Yes, it is also a symptom of allergies, okay? It's a symptom of a cold. It's a symptom of maybe a flu. It could be anything. And it also could be COVID-19. So anyways, so I said yes. Yes, someone in my household is isolating. Yes, someone's isolating. No, you're not eligible. Okay. Got a little bit upset, but whatever. Still gotta play by the rules, play by the process, get tested. So, I now go to the provincial system. Some of the testing sites have been shut down in an effort to get boosters out there. Awesome. Get boosters out there. Fantastic. So I find a place that is taking walk-ins, the Brewer Park. And Shane is like, well, it's just after the holidays. Everybody just spent time with their loved ones. Everyone probably needs to get tested. Awesome. I get that. You're right. Let me try to book an appointment. So I try to book an appointment. Nothing comes up. Switch my location. Nothing comes up. Switched it back. Played with the system. Nothing. Okay, whatever. So at this point, my best resort is still going to be to walk in. A few hours later, I happened to be checking the site again because a little compulsive at this point, probably. I don't know. And what do you know? There are appointments for the next day. Awesome. So awesome. I am so sorry. There's this lady looking at me. She's walking by on the sidewalk right now, and she's like 100% like, who is he talking to? Or she probably thinks I'm talking to somebody in my car. I don't know. Anyways, so there are 2 appointments. Awesome. Fantastic. So I book one of them. It is at 2 p.m. Fantastic. The next day or whatever. So yeah, great. So I've now had to explain to my work, right? Like, hey, I know that you said that the rapid test would be fine. But due to following the rules, it says I'm not eligible. So I'm going to, follow the rules, get the provincial test, at one of the assessment centers. Great. They have been very understanding. They are awesome. It's okay, Joey. Everybody's going through this, because we're in a pandemic. And yeah, totally normal, totally fine. And they are so supportive. They're so amazing, by the way. It just hasn't changed the fact that, like, at the moment, there's no, like, money in my wallet, which isn't anybody's fault but my own. I just want to put that out there as well. If you don't plan to have savings, if you don't have money aside in your account, life lessons, I tell you, then you put yourself in the possibility of being in this kind of predicament, which is fucked. But it is the reality, So, whatever. So I go to my assessment, my lovely appointment. And so awesome. I get there. It's very, very crowded, but I finally find parking. Somebody, as I'm getting closer to the tents, which are set up to control the line, somebody says, oh, hey, like, you have an appointment? Yes, I have an appointment. And they're like, oh, perfect. Like, you can enter the tent, bypass everybody in line, because you have an appointment, and just, see the person at the end of the line who's waiting to take your information. Awesome. I get to the end of the line. There's, like, another 2 people, in line. Actually, one who was ahead of me and one who came behind me. And the girl behind me was like, oh, hey, like, this is the appointment line. You guys have appointments? And we're like, yep, we have appointments. Awesome. So I then speak with the nurse or doctor, I'm not sure, in line. And they are like, oh, you have an appointment? Yes, I pulled up my MyChart profile, showed that I have an appointment, and they're like, and are you a high risk contact of COVID? And I said no. However, my spouse is isolating currently, as he is a high risk contact. I, however, because he is a high risk contact, etc., need a test before I can go back to work. And she was like, nope. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, no, you would have to, your husband would have to be here. He's the high risk contact, so he is the one who needs to get tested. And I was like, okay, that's great, but I am the one who needs the test to go back to work. Like, it needs to say, Joachim Bell, test negative. And she was like, well, you're going to have to get tested another way. And I'm like, okay, but I can't go to the pharmacy. I can't get tested, the easy way, because part of the questionnaire is anyone in your house isolating as a result of being a high-risk contact? And she said, oh, really? Oh, well, that's strange. But anyways, you can't get tested here. And I was like, I was livid, okay? I was not impressed. But whatever. Rules are rules, right? So, yeah. So, Shane has to get tested. Whatever, we knew that anyway. Because that is what it said on the official Ottawa Public Health paperwork. So we knew he was going to have to get tested anyway. I was furious, but it is what it is. So I called my employer to let them know. I spoke with my big boss, and, he said it is what it is. Lots of people are in this situation. There are other employees in this situation also. Your spouse needs to get tested as soon as possible. Obviously, and then I can go back to work. Awesome. Everybody's being so understanding, right? Which is great. So great. And, I feel like, did you guys ever watch Two Broke Girls where at the end of the episode they, put the current money that the girls had accumulated on the screen, and sometimes it would be $10, sometimes it would be $1 million. I don't think it was ever $1 million because the show was called Two Broke Girls. So sometimes it would be negative $22. I feel like this is the story of my life right now. If I just had a figure over my head that showed what the account balance was at, then maybe people would understand why I am bitchy right now. But anyways, so Shane has to get tested. We knew that anyway. Perfect. So that very night, or maybe the next day, he books his test because he's coming to the end of that period that he was supposed to wait before he gets tested. Fantastic. So, I'm just checking my phone because I don't remember what frickin' day it is. So it's the 30th. So, yes. So today was the day. Today was the first day that he was eligible to get tested. So we went. So he booked his appointment, 1:00 in the afternoon. He was a little bit nervous. Everybody's nervous before they need to get a COVID test, right? And so I went with him. I had just been there 2 days prior or 3 days prior or whatever the hell at this point. So I went with him. I drove him, dropped him off. At least one of us had been recently, so I could kind of tell him where to go and everything would be okay. I was parked for not longer than 5 minutes before he calls me and is like, "Where are you parked?" And I was like, okay. This is super weird, but whatever. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. And he walks up to the car and he has a paper that said that his appointment was canceled also. So he got to the end of the line and he identified himself as a high-risk contact. He gave the high-risk contact case number or whatever the hell it is. And they were like, "Your appointment is canceled." So I'm not sure, Ottawa Public Health, who are you testing? Because I know that I couldn't get tested as someone living in the household of a high-risk contact. Again, high risk of getting COVID. I couldn't get tested, and I was told that the high-risk contact needed to be tested. So that's what I did. The high-risk contact went to the testing center, and he couldn't get tested. So who are you testing? Is it like, if you have corona, then we'll test you? Is that what it is? Or maybe you have to lick someone's tongue who has coronavirus. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I at this point, I don't know. All I know is that I need a test to go back to work, and ain't nobody giving fucking nobody any tests around here. No, I'm frustrated because I believe in playing by the rules. I really do. And so many people, excuse me, my hand is getting very tired here. Ow. Oh, it's asleep. Oh, it's asleep. Pins, needles, stars. I'm frustrated. I'm actually very frustrated. Because again, several people said, well, why don't you just lie on the stupid questionnaire so you can get tested? Okay, but like, if everybody lies about the symptoms they're feeling, we're feeling symptoms, by the way. Sorry, Shane's not feeling symptoms. He's just mysteriously come down with a new sniffle and a cough, but he does have allergies and things, and we have pets, so we are congested a lot of the time. Fair. Whatever. But I have been more congested than I regularly am. My throat has been feeling sore for 2 days now, which I am attempting to minimize in my brain because, it's probably a fucking cold. It is probably a cold. I get it. This isn't about me thinking that I have COVID and I'm going to die. I got the shot. I got it twice. I'm going to go get it the third time. Everything's going to be fine. But it is about the fact that if something is identified as a symptom, and we're in the middle of a bloody pandemic, then you report the symptom. And you go through official channels and you answer things properly, and the proper things should happen, right? You get tested, it says negative, you go back to your life, It's very simple. It's very simple. But that's not been the case. And I get it. People say, why didn't you just lie to the fucking pharmacy system and get tested? Well, maybe that's what I'm going to have to do, Like, maybe I'm just going to have to say nobody's isolating at home, Or maybe when I was standing in line for the provincial assessment center, maybe I should have said I was the high-risk contact, which I know actually now. So for any of you who might be thinking about it, don't do that because they will ask for your case number. So I guess we had that experience. And even if you have a fucking case, they will still send you home. They will still send you home and tell you to just finish your isolation. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Oh my God. Ugh. I'm so frustrated. Sorry. It's just annoying. I really believe in, like I've said before, playing by the rules. And then when you play by the rules, things should work out, right? Systems are put in place for a reason. Ottawa Public Health wouldn't send people paperwork saying that they need to isolate and get tested before they have to go back to work, just to tell people that they were fine, right? Who would do that? Who would waste people's time and money and energy and gas going to 2 appointments when they don't have money to pay rent? Who would do that? Definitely not our system. Definitely not a system that gives a fuck about us, that is trying to protect us and keep everyone safe, right? No. So yeah, I'm sorry. I know some tears of frustration here. And that's really what it is. I'm just frustrated. If they were going to tell me that I couldn't get tested and Shane couldn't get tested and they were just going to tell us to go back to work in 3 days anyway, why didn't they just say that? Why didn't they just not waste my time getting me to try to get tested? Why even let me get tested? Why does the provincial system let people book themselves in if they're just going to drive there just to be canceled anyway? Why do you even accept bookings then? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. There surely, in a technologically advanced society, there is a way to just let the people who have been identified as having exposure to someone with coronavirus, surely there is a way to limit the amount of tests or the test bookings to those people. Surely. I don't know at this time if there would be a point, because clearly you're not testing those people anyway, because Shane would have just been tested today. So I don't know. I do want to say a doctor or nurse mentioned to me to try to get a take-home test, and it looks like that's what I'm going to have to do. It's 3 more days until Shane is out of isolation, at which time he is cleared to go back to work just fine. So maybe that will be the case for me. I have to contact my work as well and find out. But yeah, I'm just not impressed with the process, and especially after I've been on the side of doing the right thing this whole time, which feels like it has been for 5 fucking years. Obviously, I keep saying 2 years, actually, to be real. And I mean, it hasn't even barely been that, like, we're December 2021, and we all started freaking out about this in February, March of 2020, so not even 2 full years. How is that real? Anyways, thank you for being here for my little venting session. Yeah, my little frustration station. And I'm gonna be fine, obviously. I'm not gonna die. I'm not gonna be frustrated forever. I'm just frustrated right now. And rather than do the usual and internalize all the things, I figured I would just kind of share with you guys, tell you what's going on, and share my experience with you. If you have gone through something like this, please tell me in the comments. Send me a message, like this, share this, whatever you have to do, whatever you want to do, I would appreciate it, so that I know that I'm not alone. I know I'm not alone. Despite feeling completely invalidated and rejected for 2 appointments as I feel at the moment. It's not it's not about me. So many of you, I'm sure, out there are going through the same thing. Who knows what your provincial or city testing looks like? Did I say provincial? I think I said provincial this whole time, and I think it's municipal. But whatever. And let's not forget, right? It's not the frustration isn't for people getting tested. It's for people dying of this freaking pandemic, and this friggin' contagious AF variant, like, unbelievable. So yeah, it's not the end of the world. There are so many worse things going on. There are people dying. There are people who are starving. This is what I do, by the way, to minimize my own frustrations and needs and things. But it's true, right? It is important to base yourself in reality. There are people going through worse things, so many worse things. There are people who aren't alive today anymore to be experiencing the joys and pains of life. And as much as that was said ironically, or whatever, sarcastically, I do mean that. I get it. There are people who have so many worse things going on. I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky just to be here, and I'm good with that. But man, this has been frustrating. And I just feel like, stupid congested nose. I hate it every time, because every time that happens, then I like swallow this garbage, and it's like, it just makes my throat feel worse. But anyway, I just feel like it's so easy, right, to say, I don't feel any symptoms. I have allergies all the time. It's probably a cold. If no one was saying those things, no one would be getting infected with COVID, right? Because everybody would be isolating, or doing their due diligence, and then no one would be getting sick if people who did not have symptoms would not come in contact with other people, right? So we know what the solution is. There's a reason people get sick. And it is so easy to cheat yourself. I feel fine. Cheat the system. It's just allergies. It's just a cold. Did you get tested? Are you for sure? No. Like I said, I'm not worried about personally, really, although I probably should be with asthma and junk, but not really worried that much for myself and my own health. I would feel so guilty. I would just feel incredibly bad if I thought that I had something, and I gave it to someone. And you feel bad enough when it's a cold, right? Or a flu. Like, oh, I went to work, I was sick, everybody got sick, Like, maybe other people don't feel guilty. I don't know. I feel guilty. I don't personally enjoy being sick. I don't like getting other people sick. But if I gave people coronavirus when I knew I had symptoms and I knew I should have gotten tested and I didn't or couldn't get tested, but at this point, I'm gonna make one more attempt. I'm probably gonna try to get a take-home test. If I'm not able to, I'm fairly confident that my work will be satisfied with what I have done in terms of trying to get tested. So, they've been very understanding so far. I'm sure they will continue to be understanding. I just hate that. Yeah, that it's not easy. It's not easy to play it safe, play it by the rules. And if I wasn't going to get tested anyway, I could have just worked this whole time. Not had as much financial difficulty of when Mr. Bus Driver is off for school break and now I have to isolate with him, who is making money for 2 weeks. Ooh. No one. Yay. Anyways, I think I'm all talked out. And I want to thank you. If you have got to the end of this, I don't know how you have. You must be just my biggest fan or something. And if you are, then I want to know who you are. So please tell me. I'm sorry that this was not the most fun of the videos, or joyful of videos, but I just want to thank you for letting me get it out. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend that you care about. I'm not a YouTuber. I just, when you watch a certain amount of videos, it starts to become natural. Okay, that's pretty much it from me. This is gonna now sound like, I don't know, half an hour of bitching or something. I'm not sure how long this lasted for, but I hope that you are well. I hope that you are not isolating for your sake. And again, yeah, I'm sorry for this being a negative video. But it is kind of reality, and it is how I'm feeling right now. And I just wanted to get this rant out and over with instead of bottling it up. So here it is. Yeah, I hope you have a great day, whatever effing day this is.